Hi. In this week's Parsha, the Torah tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu was standing after the giving of the Torah many hours a day in judgment. There was a long line of the Jewish people. Some had questions and some had claims against one another, and they were all coming to Moshe Rabbeinu to find the answer to their question or to settle their case. And Yisro, his father-in-law, witnesses this, and he says, Moshe, this is not a good system. This line is very, very long. You're only one person. You're going to wilt. They're going to be standing for hours and hours and hours. This is not a good system. We've got to create multiple judges. I understand that you're Moshe Rabbeinu, you know the entire Torah, but not every question needs a Moshe Rabbeinu to answer it. There's some easy questions, so let's appoint people for the easy questions. There are some higher level questions. We'll appoint higher level people to answer those questions, and if there's a question they don't know the answer to, so they'll bump it up until eventually they'll come to you. But you don't need to be the one to answer all of these questions. It's not a functioning system. So now this concept that Yisro introduces is not a very unique one. It's not a very hard one to think of. It's clear Moshe Rabbeinu for sure would have thought of that. He was, after all, one of the greatest people of all time. It's not a complicated system. So it seems like there must have been some kind of counter-argument or other consideration why Moshe Rabbeinu did not assume that that should be the system. He was very open, because he was humble, humblest of all men. He was very open when Yisro asked him to reconsider. I really think you should reconsider and ask Hashem, because I understand there are reasons on your side, but I really think even so, this is a better system. And Moshe Rabbeinu asks, and Hashem says yes. Really, it is a better system to divide up the cases amongst different judges. But there must have been some strong reason why Moshe Rabbeinu did not go with a seemingly obvious system. So if you read the Psukim, it's clear that Moshe Rabbeinu thought, correctly so, that when people come with their question and they're coming with their cases, they're not simply coming for an answer. It's like, I have an informational question, and I'm going to get an informational answer. When you went to Moshe Rabbeinu, the Pasuk says they went to be Doresh Elokim. They went to seek God. When you were speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu, you felt like the answer was coming from Hashem himself. You had an experience with Moshe Rabbeinu, the person who spoke face to face with God and got the Torah. And when you got the answer, it changed you. It was real. And so Moshe Rabbeinu said, of course I could divide up the labor and people can get the answers to their questions. But they won't be getting it from me. They won't feel like they're getting it from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They won't sense the purity, the awesomeness of the Torah the way it is. Not because he needed the honor. The Torah says he was the humblest of all men, because that was the truth. When you would experience a conversation with Moshe Rabbeinu, you were a different person. You walked away a different person. So of course it's more efficient to have more judges, but you're losing something tremendous. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu assumed that he had to be the judge the entire time. Hashem says, it's true, of course that's an important consideration, but unfortunately we can't have everything. We've got to compromise somewhere. And so Moshe Rabbeinu agreed with Yisro, you really should appoint other judges. Why is that important? Because very often we delegate. We delegate lots of the things that we have to do. And some of us are not good delegators, and we're pressed and we practice to delegate. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't think with Moshe Rabbeinu's reasoning, that even though you could delegate and you could accomplish a lot of things by sending other people to do the things that you have to do, but very often it has to be you that does it. When you send a gift to a friend who's having a hard time, so it's true he will receive the gift that you send if you send it to somebody else. But he really probably doesn't care that much about the gift. He cares if you go to his door and knock on his door and say hi and look at him with your eyes and speak to him with your voice. It can't be somebody else besides for you. A parent who sends his child to school, so he's outsourcing his child's education. If he thinks that the school is now the main educator of his child, it's a huge mistake. The main educator of a child is the parent. The parent is the one who gives the child his priorities, his values, his everything. The school is an aid, but the main educator is the parent. So in life, we always have to walk this balance. Sometimes we need to delegate because we need to accomplish lots, but at the same time, we need to keep in mind that sometimes it needs to be us. Have a great Shabbos.